You ever wondered what comics caused their demise into? What Zachary Levine's favorite MCU movies are? Well, Medical Nerds.
Live from the 607, it's the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, where we're talking everything going on in the world of sports. Join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag ODPH, because here we go.
Every Monday, 7 p.m. Find it anywhere you find podcasts. After
every word I have to say, keep it simple.
Welcome to an all-new edition of the ODPH podcast. My name is Kenem. Joining me in studio, as always, you know him. He's the co-host. He's a statistician to stars. He's the Oja, as we've now just found out. Spelled O-G-J-A. But we all know him as Padawan J.
Let me talk to you, coming at you with a better defense than UNC on Monday night.
Oh, my God.
Ooh, baby.
That was something.
TCU beat the brakes off them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Belichick might have forgot he's not in the NFL anymore because...
Well, I mean, when your son Steven is the defensive coordinator, which we saw how that worked before.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Like we say, there's a lot to go over in this week's edition of the ODPH podcast. That's why it's a fusion edition, and we definitely keeping those conversations rolling after the show. So, Pad, where does everybody go?
ODPHpodcast.com.
Right on. Check out the social media links. Everything's updated. Check out the TeePublic store. Sale going on last I knew, and plus they're now offering shorts. So if you want to get the podcast logo on some shorts.
So if you're fortunate to live in an area where it's warm year-round.
Yeah. I just found out about this. So,
nice.
So that's going to be something if you're interested in. So there's a lot of stuff you want to go support the brand out on the streets there. Go ahead and right do it. You know, like I say, there's nothing wrong about doing that. Also, check out the blogs. Check out the directory. Pad, how many providers are we on?
209,349.
In your source?
Trust me, bro.
So if you're listening to the ODPH on, first and foremost, thank you for checking us out. It means the absolute world. Leave a review on your favorite podcatcher. I am told it helps the algorithm of the show. So,
allegedly.
So who might be wrong? Also, check out the classified section, which has friends of the show such as 3FM Podcast, Dragon Master Games, Nerd Initiative, and many more. Last but certainly not least, a fantastic music section, which if you're here locally in the 607, a lot of them were attending Binghamton Porch Fest.
Yeah, saw that.
Which is a little musical festival. Everybody's playing on everybody's front yard. It's a cool thing to go to, but we know Brian Wolf and the Howlers were up here. We know Second Suitor was playing. Tom Jola was playing. I know Floodlands was down there as well.
Yep.
So basically all the music you hear on the ODPH was playing live in the 607. If you want to download it wherever you are around the world, boom, there it is. And if it's anything else I might have forgotten, because, hey, it does happen. ODPHpodcast.com. And if you're still using hashtags on social media, why not use hashtag ODPHpod? So let us kick off this edition of the Fusion Show talking about a show that came out due to scheduling conflicts. We weren't allowed to talk about it at the time.
Yep.
But 2 episodes have dropped. The DCU is back in full swing.
Oh, baby.
And you can see him. His time is now. John Cena has reprised his role as Chris Smith in the unlikely anti-hero saga known as Peacemaker.
The surprising hit, I would say, because it's John Cena. John Cena is he's a very personable individual. You know, kids like him, teenagers like him, adults, mixed bag. But by and large, I don't think I've ever seen a person that take the wrestler away, looks at John Cena and goes, yeah, what a garbage human being. So John Cena, yes, helps the fact, but the fact that you took Peacemaker, of all things, that I did not know who Peacemaker was before it appeared on, he appeared on the big screen with James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, you know, and made it into this smash hit that it's become, you know, where James Gunn is doing watch-alongs. I think they're on Monday nights now because he wants to give everyone time to consume them and not be spoiled.
I believe on Threads, too.
Yes, it's on Threads, which I've read a couple of those. They're fun reads. But the fact that it's become as popular as it is very surprising.
Yeah, I would have to say so. I mean, Peacemaker in the comics is a C to D-list villain.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was recruited for the Suicide Squad movie of 2021, we all were kind of waiting to see, okay, well, if you're going to talk about expendable characters, Peacemaker has to be one.
Yeah.
But with John Cena playing in the role, it actually turned out to be more meaningful to James Gunn's vision of the DCU than I think anybody had ever thought. So after coming out with his own solo series in 2022, the fan base was really falling in love with the character and the quirkiness that was surrounding his world.
Well, I mean, the intro helped.
Well, the intro was amazing. The intro sold everything that you were expecting on this. But then taking a look at the cast he was with, you know, we had some really standout characters. Would you say, Pat?
No, I would say so. I mean, you had it was an incredible cast from top to bottom. Even the ones who weren't in there super long. Of course, we had, as we mentioned, you had John Cena as Chris Smith, a.k.a. Peacemaker. Daniel Brooks was in there as Leota Adebayo. Freddie Stroma was in there as Adrian Chase, a.k.a. Vigilante, although not the one we knew and had come to have mixed feelings on from the Arrowverse days. You had Chukwudi Iwuji as Clemson Mern, and then you also had Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt, and a whole list of other folks. Frank Grillo was Rick Flag Sr.
Well, that's where he's jumping in now,
Yeah.
but we have to remember about John Economist, who was played by Steve Agee,
Yeah.
who, like I said, this core group was dealt a very interesting hand coming out of the events of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And then where that ended up, obviously a little crazy, we will say, to put it mildly. It was supposed to tie into the original Snyderverse.
It wasn't supposed to. It did.
Well, that's the thing. It was kind of questionable where it was going to wind up.
Right.
It did wind up with it, and then it was going to be like now
what happens?
With the purchase of DC Studios, I should say, and the revamping with Peter Safran and James Gunn, how is the show going to fit in?
Yeah.
So when we heard season 2 was underway, we were very excited to hear about it. San Diego Comic-Con was the first teaser for it.
Yep.
And then here we are, August of 2025, and the season debuts.
Hell yeah.
So this is one that we're going to be recapping episodes 1 and 2. Now, if you're new to the ODPH, first and foremost, thank you again for checking us out. It means the absolute world. We like to give a spoiler-free statement about what we're going to be talking about. So after that statement, you have to be like the Clash. Do you stay or do you go? Pad gives you a countdown, and he puts in the liner notes when we're going to be switching over to talking spoilers. When we go into spoiler talk, we do not hold anything back. We give you theories. We give you thoughts. We give you directions of where stuff's going, and just basically ruin everything for you. But if you've seen it, you're not getting anything ruined, so it kind of defeats the purpose there. So you have to make that choice at that moment, but that's why we say download the episode wherever you're listening on, watch the episodes, jump in, and then you caught up on the conversation, and boom, there it is. So that said, Pad, spoiler-free statement on Season 2's premiere of The Tie Is the Grind, and Episode 2, A Man Is Only As Good As a Bird.
Episode 1 is good. It's not the best thing they've ever done, but it was good. You know, there was a lot of heavy lifting that episode had to do just because of what had happened at the end of last season and kind of the way things had shaken out with DC Studios from the first season to this season. There was a lot of heavy lifting that needed to get done and a lot of wrinkles that needed to get taken out of the fabric, as it were. You know, so it had a lot to do there. It was good. You know, it was setting up a lot for the what we can expect and kind of the overall plot for season 2. You know, so I dug that. Season 2 was episode 2 was a lot better. I dug the hell out of episode 2, thought it was great, but both episodes were fantastic.
Both episodes have been solid. And the thing that is the biggest challenge with this is, let's face it, Chris Smith is not a premier character in the DCU.
No.
So you're almost rewriting history the more that you're putting him in shows, which is not a bad thing because John Cena is making the most of every screen moment he's on.
Yep.
So I'm not faulting that. You're tying him into some other elements that have been going on in the DCU along with his team. The one area that gets tricky is they've added a little touch of sci-fi into this. Mm-hmm. And any time that you deal with sci-fi, let alone multiverses, anything of that nature, it is always a slippery slope. Either you skate it perfectly or you crash. Mm-hmm. They've done a decent job thus far, but I'm curious where we're going ultimately with this. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be kind of the point for the rest of the season. But for where we've been for these 2 episodes, I like what they've done with 2 characters specifically thus far. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of room to grow. And then to try giving more depth to the character that really doesn't have one has been a challenge thus far, but so far so good. The only complaints I really had have been I think they've tried going a little too heavy in on the adult humor. Yeah. And I think that maybe that takes away in certain aspects of the shows, but it doesn't take away the overall experience of it. So it's definitely ones to still check out. But that said, Pad, in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk some spoilers.
No, I thought, like I said, the episodes were really good. Episode 1 wasn't as good as episode 2 was, you know, but episode 1, like I said, had to do a lot of heavy lifting. I like how they addressed kind of the elephant in the room right from the get-go of where does things lie. Yes. You know, in terms of the overall state of where the show is, because season 1 happened, things played out the way they did. And then it kind of became a question of, well, is it canon or is it not? And James Gunn kind of came out and was like, well, if it happened on screen, unless it contradicts and blah, blah, blah. And pretty much set that by the wayside. And I'm almost curious now. I almost kind of want to go back and watch the finale for season 1 again and see if that original thing is still in there or if they've maybe replaced it. Because I know you can do that with...
I think it's replaced.
You can do that with shows nowadays because we all remember the infamous Game of Thrones Starbucks Cup.
Yep.
Where that was broadcasted, and then within that same night was digitally scrubbed from the episode. So you can do that these days. So I'm almost curious. I almost want to go back and watch the season 1 finale to see if the Justice League scene is still in there or if it's the Justice Gang. Well, somebody hit us up. Hashtag ODPH pod.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to dive into that.
But like I said, it was good. I like how they kind of established things from the get-go, and then they kind of hit the ground running. I'm interested to see where it goes. I agree with you. They're almost leaning into the multiverse thing a little too much, but I'm gonna let it play out and see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Just because I'm like, okay, if this ends up being kind of like the overall plot of like just trying to figure out what's going on, okay, that's fine. But if you're just doing it for the sake of multiverse, I don't know if that's necessarily the best move.
I don't think it's a smart play to do it if that's the sole key thing to do, because obviously, if you know DC Comics lore very well, multiverse, 52 Earths, that's very normal.
Yeah.
It's also very messy. And as we have criticized the Marvel Cinematic Universe for trying to do it with Kang the Conqueror, I will criticize them if that's the goal here to do it, because obviously if you want to try involving as many characters as the DCU, you have to dabble in that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But for where we start with this season, though, I mean, we were following up on the events that happened in season 1, and Peacemaker and the 11th Street Kids have kind of separated a little bit because there's stuff going on.
Yeah, everyone goes their separate ways.
Yeah, Peacemaker has been acquitted pretty much by the government for what he was doing in the Suicide Squad and such. So he is now in his dad's home, and he's now kind of dabbled into the multiverse in the quantum unfolding chamber. So this is where things get kind of, I will say, weird.
And confusing.
Yeah, which especially for Peacemaker, because he is a grounded character. Like, I understand they're trying to implement his villain father's legacy into him a little bit.
Yep.
But it's still very, very confusing.
Right, because where the first half of this episode kind of deals with is it still feels like the universe from season 1, pre James Gunn taking over, where he's in his father's house, his father's dead, his brother's dead, from the childhood accident. And you kind of go through it, and then about, what would you say, halfway, 3/4 of the way through the episode, then it kind of flips on its head, and all of a sudden you're nuts. So you're kind of like going, okay, wait a minute, what happened? Did he jump to a new universe? Did he cross over from the Snyderverse into whatever we're calling this current universe? What happened here?
Yeah, that's the whole point. It just gets so confusing.
Right.
Because especially, this is where he's letting Eagly, his pet eagle, fly around. He's running into aliens.
Yeah.
And then he winds up going into the alternate universe where he's now seeing his dad is alive.
Right.
And is a superhero. So
and loses his shit, and his dad doesn't hate his guts.
Yeah, so it's a very awkward moment. Then they do catch you up to about what's been going on. And this is where events are tying into the present time, should we say, in the DCU.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of fallout from Superman here. And we did see the cameo with John Cena in the Superman movie. So this I like how they kind of played off it a little bit. Because the Justice Gang, as we know it, is holding auditions.
Yeah.
And as John Cena pulls up with Arabeo, we see a character run out, and that's the White Rabbit from Batman lore.
Yeah.
Which is a very awkward scene, but it kind of goes into what you're seeing here, because we do see Maxwell Lord is back, played by Sean Gunn.
Yep.
We see Guy Gardner is back, played by Nathan Fillion. And then we have Isabella Merced back as Hawkgirl. And they're interrogating/interviewing Peacemaker, and they don't realize their mics are off. Or on, I should say.
I think the switch that turns it off is busted because Maxwell Lord goes to flip the switch to turn his mic off, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. So basically, every interviewee has been hearing the snide comments that they've been making. And they're not polite. They're not meant to make friends. And basically, this upsets Peacemaker, where he just takes off.
Well, yeah, and so when White Rabbit comes running out, when Cena goes running in, you're left sitting there going, "Oh my God, are the interviews that tough that they're running out crying because they don't think they can, crack the egg, as it were, and then you confront. No, it's just because they're being rude, obnoxious jerks.
Yeah. So this sets him off to no end, and he goes on a very drug-induced bender.
Lord have mercy.
Which, if you know Herogasm from the Boys series,
Yeah,
well, they kind of do a little version of that here.
it's an homage.
Yeah, it is a very big homage. All the while, John Economist is spying on him, so his old partner is involved because, well, he's back at Argus, and Argus's new director has a problem with Peacemaker.
Yeah, it's a little one.
Yeah, so this is where Frank Grillo's Rick Flag Sr. comes into play. So last we saw him was in the animated short there for Creature Commandos.
Yep.
So now he's back in full action, which is something that they made very clear with James Gunn that, yeah, if you hear them voice a character, they're going to be them in live action.
Yep.
So he is on a mission to find out about what is going on because obviously he is trying to investigate the death of his son, which is Peacemaker's fault.
Right, because Rick Flag Sr. has been made acting director of Argus, because what happened with Amanda Waller season 1. The powers that be aren't exactly thrilled with her, so Flag Sr. is in charge. And the first thing he does, as you allude to, is like, give me the file on my son.
Yep.
And John is like, you sure about that? Like, there's plenty of, like, because he knows what happened because he was there. He's like, hey, you sure? Like, there's other things we could be doing. He's like, no, give me the report. And he reads the report and finds out what happened. And at that point, he goes out of his office and puts a 24/7, 365 watch on Peacemaker.
So this is where they're spying on the house, and then you see that he opens the door that goes into the QUC there, as they're calling it.
Yeah.
So he's taking care of that. All the while, they do touch upon one character of the 11th Street Kids that they haven't talked about, and that's Amelia Harcourt, who has not been handling the unemployment world since she's obviously been tied into Amanda Waller's case.
Well, and she tried getting other work with every alphabet soup lettered agency in Washington. And if I remember right, she didn't even get an interview.
Right.
Like, they took the application and they took the resume and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give it some consideration. And right in the bin.
So she's been drowning her sorrows in a lot of alcohol and picking fights.
Oh, baby.
To just get some kind of emotional response out of her.
Feel something.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's a very intense scene that plays out. Yeah, it's a great scene, but it goes to show about how much she's been, dealing with the fallout of Amanda Waller. Which, I mean, this reflects the comics a lot, too, because anybody that's connected to Waller, well, you don't really escape her shadow at any point.
Not usually.
No, you can see indefinite comics out right now that with Amanda Waller was taken out. Secret Six is a perfect series if you want to go check that out to see.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we go back to the story, and this is where Peacemaker, after he kind of comes to, goes back to that alternate reality where he now finds that his brother, which we find out in season 1, he killed accidentally. Well, he's alive. And he is a superhero.
And he loses his shit. And then he sees his father alive, and he goes, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, so this is all overwhelming to him. He makes a run, and as he escapes to go back into the Nexus, as we'll call it, well, that world's Peacemaker shows up.
And does not know what's going on.
Nope, and much like our Peacemaker, act first, talk later.
I'm going to kick your butt.
So we definitely see the difference in skill sets here, because we do see the alternate Peacemakers whooping the snot out of
holy cow
John Cena here.
He opened up a can of you-know-what.
Yeah. So our Cena, shall we say, winds up hitting his jetpack on his attacker. He goes flying to the ceiling and gets impaled.
Playing a little bit of too much Mortal Kombat.
Yep. So now John Cena, our Cena, has an issue, or I should say our Chris Smith, because now he has a dead Peacemaker in his arms, dying in front of him, and now he's like, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do?
Yep.
So literally that's how episode 1 ends.
Yep.
Which overall established everybody.
Yeah.
Caught you up to date with most of the 11th Street Kids.
Yep.
And then kind of set the tone what they're going to be dealing with is multiverse. And like I say, when I got done watching this episode, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
No, I did too.
But I was going, okay, this is either going to be really good or really bad because of the multiverse.
There was a lot of plot building, and there was a lot of, I don't want to call it world building, but it was a lot of setup.
Well, you have to think about it. This is, other than Superman, this is the first live action we're getting in this new DCU.
Right.
where it's connected.
Right, and it's already got a lot of stuff set before it that you would think easily gets it going for season 2, but given where season 1 took place, it was in the Snyderverse. Now we're in the Gunverse, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. You know, there was some heavy lifting to be done.
There absolutely was. So going on a strong start, we go to episode 2, A Man is Only as Good as His Bird. Mm-hmm. And we get introduced to a new Argus agent.
Good Lord have mercy.
Langston Fleury, played by the one and only Tim Meadows.
Incredibly played by Tim Meadows.
Oh, my God.
Incredible actor, but man, this character was a prick.
Comedic timing for days.
I have bird blindness.
Yo, it's amazing. So we find out that Fleury is assigned to watch Economist because Economist is kind of playing double agent. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. He has loyalty to Peacemaker. Mm-hmm. But Rick Flag understands this.
He smells a rat.
Yeah, so he's definitely on top of it. So he wants to make sure that that is caught up. And more or less is wanting the truth about his son. Mm-hmm. So that said, that kind of throws a little problem into Peacemaker's hands, which he winds up going to talk to Adebayo, who tells him, hey, you're getting watched by Rick Flag.
Well, because they can also tell the thing we find out. I can't remember if it's for end of season or episode 1 or this episode. Basically, every time Peacemaker activates the Nexus portal, as we'll call it, they find out about it. They can detect it at Argus.
Yeah.
So they know shit's going down, and they know Economist isn't telling them about it.
Right. So that's kind of making things very, very difficult. And on top of that, he still has a dead body to get rid of.
Yeah.
Which he does the only thing that we knew he was going to do, and that's call his bestie.
It's not the most logical choice.
Right. But he calls Adrian Chase.
Yep.
And this is where Freddie Stroma just exceeds in.
Yeah.
He plays such a good version of Vigilante. Because the thing is, in the comics, Vigilante is more so like Frank Castle. Mm-hmm. But to see him kind of take this Deadpool-esque spin to him, I think works. Especially with how serious Peacemaker is. Mm-hmm. And basically, he walks into the adult party and is like, how come I wasn't invited? and you see that Peacemaker is trying to spin this any way he can. And Chase is not exactly hearing it, but he's like, okay, well, I'll help you, but we're going to talk about this later. Yeah. So they wind up gruesomely disposing of the body.
Good Lord, I'm glad I had dinner before this scene.
Well, that's one thing that this episode I thought really leaned in a lot for, and that is the more mature, dark humor and violence.
Yeah.
And, like I say, the gore was definitely up on this.
Oh, yeah.
So we do see them. They literally chainsaw the body away.
Yeah.
And set it on fire. So there's no trail basically leading back to the Nexus portal, but we'll have to wait and see because like any good plans in comics, it usually goes up in smoke quick.
Yeah.
So in the background, there's a party being held to reunite the 11th Street kids.
Yep.
So that's Peacemaker's group. So we see everybody getting together at Hardcore's apartment building.
Yep.
And they're kind of touched upon there was a hookup between Hardcore and Peacemaker that
they were together.
Yeah, they teased that something happened, and that's still haunting both of them in certain aspects. So all the while they're having the party, we see that Fleury is back and leads an Argus attack squad onto Peacemaker's home. Mm-hmm. When they get inside, this is just James Gunn 101.
Yep.
Eagly takes care of this elite fighting unit and is not shy about where he goes with this.
Nope.
We're talking about eyeballs are popped out.
Yep.
We're talking
faces clawed.
I mean, it's a crazy fight scene.
Yeah.
The music is right on point for it. I mean, like I say, this is James Gunn 101.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was very pleased with this. I'm just kind of laughing because I just can't wait to see on the internet the reaction because the world's burning down right now. Because they're like, oh, this is crazy. This can't happen. It's James Gunn. So you got.
It's also behind a paywall. It can.
Yeah, exactly. They can kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So we do see at the end of all this, Chris is drunk. Because, well, they've all been partying pretty hard on that roof.
Yeah.
And he winds up coming back, and he gets the bright idea that he wants to go back one more time into this universe. So he goes into the alternate timeline, and at this point, he's in his feels and sends a text to that universe's Hardcore. Because he has the old John Cena's phone, which they've alluded to that Peacemaker lost Hardcore to someone.
Yep.
And I know there's a lot of quote-unquote internet speculation on who. And some were trying to tie it to Jon Stewart.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a great twist if they want to do it because obviously we know the Lantern series is coming.
Right.
I just don't know exactly if they want to go that route or if they want to kind of go completely left field. And James Gunn has the whole DC playbook to go with.
Pretty much.
So we'll have to wait to see how that plays out. But when the drunken Peacemaker decides to shoot that text, he gets one back. Kind of alluding to some possible, future in this new world where he seems very, very happy, especially seeing his brother is alive.
Yep.
And that turns out to be, a real interesting selling point, I guess, for his future, that he wants to go see Keith, who's played by David Denman, who is Captain Triumph in this universe. So I don't know how that's all going to play, but that's how the show wraps up. So there's a couple key points in this, I think. One, I think Hardcore's story has been very good. And I think what you're seeing out of her is really establishing her character. I think Jennifer Holland's really trying to show the after effects of Waller's manipulations and where she goes from there. I also think the character to watch is Rick Flag Sr.
Yeah.
And I think that Frank Grillo is really embracing this kind of morally gray area because, yes, he's driven by vengeance.
But he's not as headstrong as Waller was.
Exactly. Like, he understands the big play is keeping the world safe, but he's not afraid to cross the line to come to terms with what has happened. So that's another kind of question mark that we have to watch, but it's been one that's definitely been entertaining to see, especially to see the lengths that he's going to go, because I almost want to think that now with that possibility of the alternate timeline in there, what's to say Flag doesn't go trying to find his son from another timeline? What's to say that that's not the person that hooked up with Hardcore?
That may be why he's so hell-bent on finding whatever this thing Cena's got or Peacemaker's got is. That he at least knows or has an idea what it is, but he needs confirmation, before he starts acting on it.
Right, because that's the whole thing. If he has a time travel piece, is he going to go back and try saving his son? I mean,
100%.
Well, yeah, you'd have to think so. I mean, that's the one scary notion that they're going to dabble in, that you now have a crisis on Infinite Earths, but you're not having it on this level. I want to stress that right now.
Right.
But you technically have that door open now because you're having different worlds convene with each other. And who has all this access?
Right.
Is it Augie Smith in all these different worlds? Or is this different characters that can access this?
Right.
And would we see someone like a Booster Gold pop in here?
That could happen.
With a timeline. I'm just trying to think of characters that would make sense. I know that is one heavily rumored to be getting brought into the DCU.
Been rumored for a project for 10 years now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's the popularity of the character, which I thought Nathan Fillion would have played him perfectly. But he's
a little tied up.
Well, they gave him Guy Gardner, which is
Right.
equally as important. So it's just a real question of where they want to go with this. But I think for the two characters that are really standing out right now, everything else seems very routine.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but I'm not like, wow, greatest thing ever, reinventing the wheel.
Right.
It's fun. It's entertaining for what it is. You have to have a strong stomach because they are leaning into more shock value than I thought they were going to do.
Yes.
Which is okay, but I think for where they're ultimately going, they need to really give you something to take home with. Because if this series does well, and I would imagine it is doing well from what I've been able to pick up on, they'll probably want to do a season 3.
Probably.
Which would make sense, but depends on how you can pull it off of these characters.
But the thing we got to remember is James Gunn wrote this entire season, and we know he's busy with whatever the sequel is going to be to Superman. He's already he's working on the script for it. Now, when it's going to come out, what it's going to be, we have no idea. Plus, there's the whole side aspect of he's running the entire studio and is in charge of everything.
Right. So, I mean, he's going to have to make some tough choices. And we know this because I think for everything that he laid out for the original blueprint, the plan is really changed. And that's going to be something he's going to have to navigate as an executive.
Right.
Which he will. But I think for where the plan is supposed to go, the blueprint is obviously switched up, and he's going to have to pivot. And I think this is going to be a show that, as successful as it is, do you turn it over to others? Do you let John Cena try running with it?
Right.
do you have enough in the tank that you can write it out, make it happen, and go? We're going to have to wait and see, but I think for 2 episodes in, a lot to be very, very pleased about. Pat, final thoughts on this?
Great first 2 episodes. I'm really excited to see where the rest of them go. You know, a lot of intrigue, a lot of mystery, and it's keeping me very, very involved.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I think there's a lot to take home with this. I think there's a lot of upside thus far. But yeah, just have to be patient because, like I say, anytime they do time travel in multiple universes in the DCU, I get a little apprehensive. I got to admit, I'm very, very hesitant to dive in, but so far it's been intriguing, to say the least.
Yeah.
And we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. Peacemaker is airing Thursday nights in the U.S. on HBO Max. So in the meantime, hit us up on the hashtag ODPHpod. Season 2 has debuted. Let's talk about episodes 1 and 2, but we're going to get a quick breakout. We'll be right back.
You ever wondered what comics Mark from Vale is into? What Zach from Left Behind's favorite MCU movies are? Well, Metalcore Nerds is the show for you. My name is Sean Mott, and here at Metalcore Nerds, we cover the latest things in pop culture, whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, DC, AEW, and everything else in between. You can listen to the show every Monday on Adobe Howl at 7 p.m. Eastern, or find it anywhere you find podcasts after it debuts on the radio station.
The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, be sure to check out nerdinitiative.com.
Coming back for another segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast, and a lot has been going on in the world of professional wrestling. And the WWE has been on a European tour, which has come to a close end, I would say, by now, because this Friday they're coming back to Chicago for SmackDown, but they finished out their European tour with an amazing event. And Pat, what were we talking about?
We're talking about Clash in Paris, which took place at the Palais La Défense Arena over in France, in Paris, France, this past Sunday, August 31st, 2025, with an announced attendance of 30,343. Hell of a crowd.
Yeah, amazing crowd. So this is one that definitely fans were keeping an eye on for. This, I believe this is the last pay-per-view before the whole Peacock to ESPN deal goes through.
Yes, so this was the last official PLE on the Peacock that took place because hold on. Because the next one technically is Worlds Collide, which is going to be...
But that's the joint one.
That's the joint one. That's going to be in Vegas. So that one, yes, it's going to... So that one's going to air on WWE's YouTube channel with both English and Spanish language commentary. And then after that, WrestlePalooza is going to be the first one on ESPN. So this was the proverbial swan song for WWE on Peacock.
Yeah, so they definitely want to go out with a loud noise, and boy, did they ever. Yeah. The crowd in France, definitely shout out to them.
Yeah.
Loud.
Holy cow.
Excited to be there. I mean, granted, the WWE does not come there that often, let alone for a PLE.
Right.
So you knew they were going to get up for it, and they absolutely did. So I can't fault them at any bit for this, so definitely shout out to them for that. So let us recap the card that was. So, Pat, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, so the first card match on the card was Roman Reigns taking on Bronson Reed. And he had Roman Reigns win via pinfall in 22 minutes and 5 seconds. Although, of course, there were some extracurriculars that took on after this match was over.
Yeah, they relied heavily about establishing the Vision,
Yeah.
Rollins' group, which I hate the name. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's corny.
Yeah, it is.
So... But the match itself was very good. I think Bronson Reed looked great. I think Roman and him had surprisingly good chemistry.
Yeah.
Which I was very surprised at.
Yeah.
They told a very good story going on with it. And even with Reigns getting the surprise win, they still put Reed over big.
Yeah.
I know that they have now kind of written out Roman as he left on a stretcher.
Yep.
At the end of this match.
And they said on Monday night he's going to be out for several weeks.
Yes, because he has to film Street Fighter.
Yes.
So he will be back maybe at War Games, I would imagine.
Could be.
So it'll be fun to see how they line that up, but I think that makes a lot of sense. And this is something that this group needed, as weird as that sounds, because, I mean, Reed has been great being the Shula Fala and the tribal thief. Yeah, which, I mean, for his character, he needs something, and I don't mind it for him. Because he's got all the talent in the world, he just needs a gimmick, and this is working for it.
Yeah.
And Braun Breaker's Braun Breaker, so what are you expecting there?
You need nothing else from him.
Exactly.
That's all you need to say. Next up was a tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships with the Wyatt Six and Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis defending their belt against the Street Profits and Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Obviously, As is the case, a lot of extracurriculars went on with this one. The other members of the Wyatt Six got involved. BFAB got involved. But the Wyatt Six emerged victorious, winning in 13 minutes and 10 seconds via pinfall to retain their WWE Tag Team Championships. Gotta say, though, I did love the gear Street Profits came out to.
Yes.
Dressed like psychos from the Borderlands franchise, of which I am a huge fan of. So I saw that, and yeah, you got to pop out of me for that one.
No, I mean, this was an okay match. I wasn't in love with it, but it was okay.
It was good.
The one thing, and I don't know, this is going to sound weird saying, I guess, but it is what it is.
Sure.
I'm not in love with the Wyatt Six being champions. I think they're better without a belt. Like, they don't need one. It's kind of just when you have the quote-unquote supernatural group having titles, this one things get really kind of weird. I mean, the same with the late Bray Wyatt when he was the Fiend as champion. I remember he took, 15 finishers from Seth Rollins and still won. Yeah. So, like I say, it's just kind of a weird setup with that. But it's kind of like, what do you do with the Wyatt Six?
Yeah.
And giving them the belts, sure, it works, but then it always seems like there's a run-in, there's always something that goes on with it.
You almost got to figure out what you want to do, because it made sense at the start when, you had Jey Uso, was doing getting the Fireflies treatment during his entrance, and then the Wyatt Six started appearing, and it almost looked like they were coming after him, like, hey, you're taking something that ain't yours. Or you're using something like that made sense. And then you had the whole Chad Gable thing going on, which was freaking fantastic. But then it's kind of like, okay, you can do that kind of stuff, but where does it ultimately go? Because, okay, you can have them eat the pin, but then what was the point? You can have whoever they're chasing eat the pin, but then at some point they gotta lose.
Yeah,
they can't go on an Undertaker undefeated streak for the rest of their careers.
Well, that's the whole thing. So it's gonna take. It's weird as it sounds. Like, you almost have like a weird bloodline-esque thing happening here,
kinda,
where you have to defeat 6 people and the champion to win,
and then the supernatural powers.
Yeah, and like I say, when they play into that element, it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It kind of puts them in a weird spot.
Right.
Like, that's the thing, because are they faces or heels? I don't know.
They're whatever they need them to be.
And which is fine. If you want to kind of have them in that tweener phase,
sure, that
works. But then when you're looking at the title picture, it's like now you're having like DIY work with the Motor City Machine Guns about beating them, and like everybody has to work together.
Only reason, and I love Wyatt Six. They're a great group. Obviously, we got a lot of fondness for Joe Gacy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Came through Binghamton and wrestled a number of times in Binghamton. But I think they're obviously a good group. They're obviously a little over with the crowd. But I think part of the reason they're getting featured so heavily right now is they've got the haunted house in Universal.
Oh, sure.
So and it's the Wyatt Six haunted house, and everything about Wyatt Six and Bray Wyatt and everything is featured very heavily down there. So you want that little cohesion going on and want them featured on TV. So I get it.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. I don't know. There's something about them as champions that's just not working for me.
Sure.
But I also think they don't need belts. Like, they're that over in their own sense.
Right.
So
next up was a singles match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, where Becky Lynch defeated Nikki Bella via pinfall in 13 minutes, 7 seconds.
I try not being too critical. But Nikki Bella was not ready for this moment.
No, definitely a little bit of ring rust.
Oh my God,
a little bit of ring rust.
I'm like I say, if you want a prime example, the missed springboard off the corner kick.
Yeah,
that was Jackie Gata level bad. Like I said, if you remember the Jackie Gata botched Bulldog?
Yes,
it was on that kind of level. I'm sorry, like, it is what it is. So just this one definitely did not do anything for me. I'm happy Becky retained. Nikki, I don't know. I mean, maybe, as weird as it sounds, I don't know if she would do it or not. If she's serious about making a comeback,
right?
NXT, or I'm sorry, like, or even, I mean, granted, you already have Dana Brooke doing this over in the TNA division, but if she came in with the whole "I'm too good for this place," and ran with that gimmick, like I think that could get her back into where she needs to be.
Yeah.
But I just think, like, this was such a bad showing.
Yeah, I mean, it's her first, I'll call it sustained run in WWE. It's not her first match back. She had she made a Royal Rumble appearance back in 2022.
Right, but that's a Rumble, though.
Well, right, so that's exactly my point, though. And then she didn't make another appearance until the Royal Rumble this year, and then she was in the 20 Women Battle Royal, at Evolution, and then she had a match on July 14th of this year on Monday Night Raw. She had another match on Monday Night Raw at the end of July, and then she had this match on the PLE. So this is her first sustained, and I'm looking at this based on her matches on cagematch.com, or cagematch.net. And this is her first sustained run since she was last with the company in 2018, where she was on Monday. She was doing house shows, and she's on Monday Night Raw, and she's doing everything else there. So she had all that time off. Like, okay, you can do a Rumble appearance, but let's face it, the Rumble isn't you and one other person. There's a lot of other folks that can do the heavy lifting, so you can almost mask, hey, I haven't done this in 4 years.
Yeah.
And then when you come and do it again, hey, I'm in another Royal Rumble. I haven't done this in 3 years. Other folks can do the heavy lifting. Same for the Women's Battle Royal. Now you're at a point where, okay, you don't have all of these outside factors helping you. Okay, granted, you did on the end of July show where it was the 6 women tag match it was her, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and 8 women. It was Io Sky, Nikki, Rhea, and Stephanie Vaquer against Naomi, Alba Fire, and then it was the Green Regime, Alba Fire, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven. But now you're at a point where it's you and the other person. There isn't anybody else that can kind of mask, hey, I haven't done this in a while. And hey, it's like Cena said, I can't move as quick as I used to. I can't do some of the same things I used to be able to do. And it's showing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a question mark about where we go from now.
Yeah.
Because I think WWE, I know this is going to sound way too harsh, but they have a problem in their hands. Because what do you do now? That's the argument.
Well, and especially given what happens with Becky later in the night.
Yeah. So
and on Monday.
Well, now I think
we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that in a minute, but I think that there's a lot of fallout to be had there. But next up
was a match I had not a lot of high expectations on, but good Lord, did it exceed all expectations. This was the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Rusev and Sheamus. And Rusev defeats Sheamus via submission, winning in 20 minutes and 8 seconds. Holy hell.
These two have low-key amazing chemistry together.
Banger after banger after banger.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Those two, I'll say this. I know we've always kidded about Rusev about that's not going to work for me, brother.
Sure.
When he has somebody he likes working with, and he can lay some into, and vice versa, you usually get a great match out of him.
It's almost like a Superman type thing, where like Superman in a fight is holding back, but then he every once in a while will get a fight where, you know what, I don't have to hold back, I can cut loose.
Yeah,
Rusev, same thing,
and that's exactly what happened here. That really happened. Yeah. But it also is a testament to Sheamus too.
Yeah,
which I don't think he gets enough credit from the fans. I'll say this, and hear me out when I put this over.
Okay.
He reminds me in a sense of The Miz, because unless you really study what he does, you don't realize how good he is.
No, that's true.
And Sheamus can really work with anybody and have an amazing match.
That's 100% true.
There's only a couple people I think that he's never been able to do that with.
Yeah.
But the fact he got Rusev into a situation like this.
Yeah.
And especially the way that it was going back and forth, like it told an amazing story. Like this was low-key the match of the night.
Yeah.
So this was something, when it's all said and done, I think that Sheamus has got a lot that people are going to miss.
Yeah.
Because he's a perfect plug and play.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't mind seeing this get ran back at any point.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, Miz is on SmackDown.
Yep.
So Sheamus is in that same role, but for Monday Night Raw, because, okay, he had the world title win against Roman, but that was, almost 10 years ago now? And he had the tag team title run with Cesaro, as the Bar, but that was, 6-7 years ago now. But outside of that, what was the last notable, storyline he had? He's had great matches. And he's had phenomenal, whatever rating system you want to use, the top of that rating system matches. But he's kind of been in that kind of like, okay, he's dependable, he's reliable, he's a plug and play, and you're going to get a great match out of him. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up was a singles match between John Cena, who took on Logan Paul, and John Cena defeated Logan Paul via pinfall in 26 minutes and 20 seconds. Holy shit, John's entrance.
Yeah.
Loudest I think I've ever heard. Might have been the loudest ever.
It's up there. I will say this. I think the fans knew. When you have that moment where you're seeing a great legend
Yeah.
for the last time,
Yeah.
it amplifies everything so much. And I think that now with Cena being a face,
Yeah.
again, this is where, especially going overseas to the tours where fans are accustomed to him being the top face in the company.
Reconciled with the kid from Berlin.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Like, he's doing everything to tie up that legacy where nothing's left behind.
Yeah.
And I think that crowd knew it.
30,343 people sang his theme song.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me otherwise.
No, it was amazing. So I think when you have a crowd that understands the moment,
Yeah.
that really helps a lot. And I think Cena knew it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then to go in there with Logan Paul, and let's face it, this is supposed to be a throwaway match.
Yeah.
Way better than expected.
Oh, 100%. Listen, Logan Paul is a human being, not exactly what you would want.
Say what you will.
Say what you will. Logan Paul is a wrestler. I don't think he's ever had a bad match. He's had some matches that weren't great, but in terms of wow, that's 15 or 20 minutes out of my life I want back, I don't think he's ever had a match like that.
The scary thing about him is he's still learning.
Uh-huh.
That's the scariest thing about him. And honestly, if they decide to give him the world title, I'm not mad about this.
I wouldn't be either.
No. He does everything right. He understands how to work the crowd. He is a perfect heel.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that he just needs to do is just maybe watch his tempo when he talks and
Yep.
does interviews. That's the only
Yep.
thing. That's the only thing I'll say negative about him.
Yep, Logan Paul. So I'm looking it up on CageMatch.net. Logan Paul has been wrestling with the WWE since 2022. He has had a grand total of 24 matches.
Yeah, and he definitely looks better every time we see him.
Uh-huh.
And this was a case too. It was him versus Cena. There was one-on-one, no real
Yeah.
hijinks going on.
Yeah, there wasn't the usual shenanigans with the brass knuckles.
Yeah, so you know what? Completely fine with
Yeah.
that. One thing, though, that was kind of interesting, and I want to get your opinion on, too.
Okay.
Cena hit a Styles Clash,
He did.
and he made a comment in the post-interview thing after, like, I forget what it's officially called now.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And it was kind of, if he can't wrestle somebody for the last time, he's trying to do a little homage to him, to paraphrase a little bit. What's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I'm all right with it. You know, he said, so his exact quote was, quote, "I know I'm not going to be able to wrestle everybody who was influential in my career, but I think you saw tonight the best way I can say thank you to some of those people who affected my career is to pay homage by maybe taking some risks and doing some stuff that I don't normally do out there. I got to shout out AJ, but I'm just saying, hopefully I can do more of that and take my game to a different level, and in turn do what we're supposed to do, and that's entertain the fans," close quote. I think if it were anybody else, I would have a slight issue with it, of like, why are you stealing their moves? You know, but the fact that it's Cena, we know it's his final year. We know he's after his final appearance at the end of December.
December 13th, I believe.
December 13th, you know, we know that's it. He's not going to make any more wrestling appearances. He's not going to be wrestling. Sure, he might show up at WrestleMania to do like an announcement gig or something like that. But him getting in the ring and doing the old shirt toss into the stands is going to be done. Mm-hmm. I'm all right with it, you know. And because the other one he did is Cena did Christopher Daniels' Angel's Wings.
Yes.
And then he did Bishop Dyer's End of Days. And then he also did the Styles Clash.
Yeah, I mean,
like it was great. Like I said, if it were anybody else, I'd be like, I don't. You know what? I don't know if you necessarily need to do that. Like, establish yourself on your own. But the fact that it's Cena, I get it.
I get it, and I think it's a very cool gesture.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and especially give those nods to everybody that helped him, and especially with him and AJ. Like,
well, and let's face it, it's like we've said before, and even off air, Cena's been wrestling for so long that sure he would like to have a match one more time with some of these folks. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them are retired.
Yeah.
Or in AEW, and the possibility of them crossing that forbidden door is next to zero.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate leap right now.
Yeah.
Is Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if the information I read was correct, and I'm trying to get verification.
Okay.
So this is strictly rumor. I want to stress this. If his contract is up in October, he technically could wrestle Cena at Survivor Series.
Oh, all right.
Technically.
Okay.
If that is the case. Now,
Right.
granted, I don't know,
Right.
but I would say this. and to just kind of tie up the Cena aspect one
Yeah.
quickly here. If I'm Tony Khan,
Okay.
I understand, hey, not exactly the best of friends with...
The relationship ain't exactly warm and fuzzy.
Right. But I think out of respect to Cena,
Yeah.
you at least make the call to Triple H and say, hey,
Yeah.
one night only. If you,
Yeah.
Adam Copeland, if
Yeah.
he wants to do it and John wants to do it, do
Yeah.
you want to do it?
Oh, I'd be all right.
And
with
just
that.
you
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do like a cross promotion.
Yeah.
But whatever the case is, if I'm Tony, I do this.
Yeah.
And just
It's a good PR move for you.
Yep.
It looks great for both companies. Yeah. No, it's a win-win.
yeah. So I mean, if I'm him, I would do the call. Now, granted, Triple H and Nick Khan don't need to pick it up,
No, they
But-
don't.
but I would say I would call Nick and I would,
It's worth a call.
yeah, I call him up and see.
Yeah. Next up was the main event of the evening, and this was a fatal four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship, where you had CM Punk taking on Jey Uso, L.A. Knight,
Yeah.
and Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and emerging victorious, winning via pinfall, of course, fatal four-way, a lot of shenanigans involved, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, this was one that we were kind of waiting to see how this is all going to play out. One that, obviously with this many competitors involved, well, you knew
Something was going to happen.
something was going to get weird.
Especially because, as we alluded to, Roman got taken out on a stretcher earlier in the night. He had put Paul Heyman in a guillotine choke, so Paul had left the building. Roman had left the building. Adam Pearce threw Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker out of the arena and said, if I so much as catch a whiff of you in this building, you will be suspended indefinitely without pay. So Seth Rollins in an interview was like, hey, somebody, whoever it was, asked him, like, hey, you going to be able to do this? And he's like, listen, if I can't defend the belt by myself, I shouldn't deserve to be called champion.
Yeah.
So that kind of left the question of what the hell's going to happen? Is somebody else going to do it? And it looked like CM Punk was going to do it. Hit the GTS. Caught him and went to go into another GTS. But then a masked individual came up behind him and low-blowed CM Punk. And I had a feeling I had a feeling who this was. Because it's been rumored this person would be joining them in some capacity for a little while. Not long. A little while. And the mask came off, and sure enough, it was his wife, Becky Lynch.
Perfect.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely perfect. The big question mark now, which I think WWE has put themselves in a very weird position with this,
Yep.
is, as we alluded to, Chicago is going to be home to SmackDown this week.
Yep.
Granted, Seth is on Raw,
Yep.
but Punk is not going to miss Chicago.
Punk has already said he's going to be at the SmackDown in Chicago.
Right. So depending if Seth would show up as well, they've almost forced the hand. It has to be the return of AJ Lee, Punk's wife.
The only person, because out of the entire roster, and I'm talking currently signed, formerly signed, not on AEW's payroll. The only person I think they could do and get away with would be Rhea. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But if we're talking like who can be, if it's for whatever reason not AJ Lee. For those who don't know, CM Punk, AJ Lee married. If it's not AJ Lee, the roster for Monday Night Raw, NXT, Friday Night SmackDown, TNA, LFG, like the entire company, anybody on the payroll, AAA, whoever. The only person they could get away with doing it, and it might work, I say might because it's Chicago, you never know, would be Rhea Ripley. Anybody else would get booed out of the building louder than Roman did after he beat Undertaker at WrestleMania 33.
Well, I do agree. I think that's the problem they've set up here.
They've almost paid because you were waiting for it.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Monday Night Raw, Punk comes out and he's looking for Seth all night and he can't find him, so he goes out to the ring. Seth's music hits and it's Becky Lynch. Great move, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. They have a little bit of a back and forth. Seth comes out, talks to him. He's like, oh, all right, see you later. And he walks out, and then Becky starts slapping him. And because they're still in the same arena they were the night prior for Clash in Paris, everybody was waiting for AJ Lee's music to hit. I was waiting on it. I'm like, you going to do it? You're almost have to do it. And then they didn't do it.
See, that's the only problem they have right now. Because last I knew, AJ's neck is still an issue.
Word is she's been training, though.
Right. Word is she's training, but granted, it depends on how much. Is it going to be one night? Now,
Right.
Now, granted, if you're going to do a one-night appearance,
Sure.
Seth and Becky are probably your two best bets.
Seth and Becky versus Punk and AJ WrestlePalooza.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense to
Yeah.
do if they want to do it just one night.
That way, Becky doesn't, or AJ doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting.
Right, that's the thing, because Becky will take up all the slack. So it does make sense, but this, like I say, this forces WWE to pull this off. Mm-hmm. They didn't hide this well, like the fact they completely mentioned Chicago.
Yep.
They were not shy about that.
He's because Punk went out back after the segment was over, and I think this was in the middle of the main event getting introduced. And he went to Adam Pearce. He went looking for Adam Pearce. He's like, "Hey, don't bother. He's gone. You know where he works, though, so you can settle this later." And Punk went, "Hey, wait a minute. Where's Friday Night SmackDown this week?" And Pearce goes, "It's in Chicago." He goes, "All right, I'll be there."
Yeah.
So you're almost setting it up.
Well, you have to. I mean, like, that's the problem. Like, they have to deliver on this.
And for the record, AJ Lee has not had a match since March 30th of 2015.
Right. She's been writing books and comics, actually.
Right. Yeah, she's been writing books and comics. And I think she was involved with
Oh, wow.
Wow Women of Wrestling for a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's been active doing things.
Yeah,
It's just
but
a
just
matter
not
of
wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, to this level. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is, they almost have to,
You have to do AJ.
But I agree. If you can't, Rhea's
the closest thing you're going to get and not get booed out of the building.
Yeah. And yeah, because I was even just trying to think, like, who else could he do?
You can't.
No, that's the whole problem. Like, because I would say if Roxanne Perez wasn't a heel,
Right.
that would work.
Cora Jade. She's
OnlyFans right now.
She's something. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
No, she's OnlyFans and retired.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she's doing.
Oh,
right.
no. Well, she's doing OnlyFans, but she's also recovering, can't wrestle right now.
Yes.
She had something going.
Yeah, no, but she said she was taking a
Right.
mental break, so
Right.
I don't think she would come back for this.
Right.
So, like I say, she's
So there
out.
go his two quote unquote kids.
Yeah. So
it's literally two people because you can't do anybody else.
yeah.
Nobody else gets a pop. Everybody else gets booed because you're waiting for AJ Lee.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
if you could do Rhea, but it won't be as loud as AJ.
No, it definitely won't. I mean, that's the whole argument you're going to have. So they have to produce with AJ. If they don't, I mean, Rhea would be a fine one to do, but
Yeah.
but I think they can't do it in Chicago. I think Chicago would be too loud.
I
if they did.
think it's got to be AJ, and I think it's a done, signed, and ready to go deal. Otherwise, you don't do this.
Oh, hopefully. I hope so. But that's the one thing we don't know. But as fans, we'll have something to watch.
Because otherwise, I think you just do I'll find somebody, you know, or you do something that's like it's not setting up for literally, you know, the end of the week.
Well, I think it depends on how bad they want to do a rating spike.
Yeah.
There is one other option, but granted, I'm not sure about her status, and I don't know if WWE would want to do this.
Okay.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, they brought back
MMA background.
They brought back somebody else from the UFC, former champion.
Yeah.
Granted, we didn't think we were going to see him back again.
Yeah.
Say what you will, Rousey is a needle mover in her own right. Granted, it's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Radio's silent from everything I've heard.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, she's promoting her comic there.
Oh, okay.
So she's been making rounds. Like I believe she's slated for New York Comic Con. So I think she'll be making some rounds there.
Right.
But as far as wrestling, I mean, it's not off the table. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen because I think the safe money is AJ Lee.
Yeah.
But depends on what they want to do for it. But I know going into WrestlePalooza,
Yeah.
they're going to want to stack that deck a little bit because especially with being the first one under the new ESPN pay-per-view deal.
And I'm willing to bet that whole thing will be on ESPN proper.
Oh yeah, no, I think so too. I think they're not going to mess around with that.
Sorry, that's the 20th. That's a Saturday, so that'd
Yeah.
be college football time. But yeah, you can make it work.
Well, they run it. Well, remember, college football is usually on ABC that night,
True.
so they're not. I mean, other than that, I mean, Clash in Paris was the perfect way to send off the show.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw was a solid one as well.
Yeah, we do know who is facing Stephanie Vaquer for the vacant Women's World Championship. Io Sky, so banger incoming.
Yep. So that'll be great for WrestlePalooza. So interesting to see where they go with this.
Yeah.
I would say safe money is Vaquer, but I would not doubt Io winning. But granted, I think Stephanie will have some help from Asuka and company.
Could be.
And then they are teasing something as well with how they ended Monday Night Raw with Jimmy Uso coming out to make the save for Jay.
Yes.
I think we're getting the return of the Usos.
Probably.
Against Braun and Bronson at WrestlePalooza.
Could be.
For how long, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this move.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. It's been long enough. I'm all right with the Usos getting back together.
Yeah, but it's been all right. But I mean, Jay's still over as a single star.
Yeah,
that's the problem I got.
I can see it for a brief run though.
For brief, yes, but it has to be brief. But granted, I mean, Jimmy will probably be going. Well, it's going to be a while before he goes on paternity leave.
It'd be a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty with WWE right now, but a lot of things that you have to be excited about. Worlds Collide is going to be there.
Baby.
Dominic Mysterio is probably walking out AAA champion. That'll be an exciting thing. El Grande Americano has been lights out as he looks a lot like Ludwig Kaiser.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We've never seen them in the same room together.
Right. But they've been doing a lot of interesting things as they're trying to set up, and same thing with AEW too, and their own.
I mean, listen, as long as Mr. Iguana and Layeska are on the card, I'll be tuned in.
And Nino Hamburguesa.
Oh, baby.
You can't forget about him. But there's a lot of storylines going on with wrestling right now, so if you want even more pro wrestling talk, Sammy and Rich will be talking about it on Thursday night. Nerd Initiative YouTube for Wrestling Night Live, and then obviously we'll be talking about it here on next week's podcast, so hit us up on the hashtag ODPHpod. What is your thoughts about the WWE European Tour and Clash in Paris? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And why? And let's speculate about where the future is holding. Is AJ Lee coming back? Is the Usos reuniting as a tag team? What about Sami Zayn now as your U.S. champion? Is Karrion Kross coming back to the roster? Who knows? But let's talk about it, shall we? But we're going to get one last breakout. We'll be right back.
Hi, guys. This is Mac Room. I'm the writer of Inferno Go Red, and you're listening to the ODPH podcast.
Coming back for the final segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast. Pad, what you got?
Got a couple things to talk about. First of which is the local minute for sports and looking at the standings for the AA Eastern League Division where our Binghamton Rumble Ponies play. They are running away with it and taking all of the cookies. Because Binghamton Rumble Ponies currently sit in first place with a record of 82 wins, 42 losses.
Holy smokes.
They are the first team in AA, I believe it is, to be at 80 wins. And it's by a couple games.
Let's ride.
Second place is the Hartford Yard Goats, who are the Colorado Rockies affiliate. They are 18 and a half games out of first place. Somerset Patriots, the New York Yankees affiliates, are in third place. They are 19 games out of first place. The Portland Sea Dogs, the Boston Red Sox affiliate, are in fourth place. They are 20 and a half games out of first place. The New Hampshire Fisher Cats, who are the Toronto Blue Jays affiliate, are in fifth place. They are 32 and a half games out of first place. And then you got the Reading Fightin' Phils, who are in last place. They are 33 games out of first place. So Binghamton's in first, like I said, 82 wins, and then you got Hartford at 64. So, I'd say they got the division.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty safe.
Looking at their record from this past week, they had a home series against the Somerset Patriots at the end of August. They won the game on Tuesday by the final score of 8-1, lost the game on Wednesday by the final score of 6-5, won on Thursday 7-5, lost on Friday 6-5, won on Saturday 2-1, and then won again on Sunday by the final score of 4-1. Looking at the schedule this week, they're on the road playing the Akron Rubber Ducks. You ought to see their logo if you've never heard of that team.
Yeah.
They got a game on Tuesday, 6:35 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday at 6:35 p.m. Eastern, Thursday at 6:35 p.m. Eastern, Friday is at 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Saturday is at 6:05 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday is 6:05 p.m. Eastern as well. You don't got to wait long for them to return home, though, because they do return home for a home series against the Portland Sea Dogs starting on Tuesday, September 9th. So for more tickets, information, all that good stuff, bingrp.com. And if you need more convincing to go to minor league baseball, got a case here in the local 607 not that long ago. The Binghamton Rumble Ponies had a prospect by the name of Jonah Tong pitching for them for the Rumble Ponies. Dude got promoted up to AAA, pitched all of 2 games, and the Mets went, yeah, you're coming up to the big leagues. So you never know. The guy you see pitching at your local minor league baseball park could be the guy you're watching on TV in like less than 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. You see the stars of today or stars of tomorrow playing today. I think that's the phrase how it goes. So and it's definitely true about that. So you want to make sure you're checking that out.
Then we got to talk some entertainment news, and we got a trailer finally for the upcoming Marvel animation series, Marvel Zombies. Holy smokes. Dropping on Disney Plus on September 24th. And the tagline with this, who will save us from our heroes?
Yeah, I mean, this is based off the comic line that they've done where, well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Zombie infection takes over the MCU. heroes turn into zombies and hijinks ensue.
Uh-huh.
The one question we all had about this before we saw the trailer was how far would they go? Because let's face it, if you do zombies right, they're not for the squeamish.
Well, and when the hell is this thing coming out? Because it was announced a while ago, and we're finally getting it.
Yeah, and we are now slated to get it when, Pat?
September 24th.
So, that said, we got a couple weeks to lead in, but the trailer dropped today.
The trailer is violent as all hell.
Yeah, the trailer
Holy cow.
The trailer lived up to it. Couldn't tell if it was Sleep Theory playing in the background, so they went for some loud music to match up the pace.
Yeah, they did.
And they did not hold back on the gore.
No.
They did not hold back on the language. The trailer is rated TVMA, so
yeah,
I'm very.
If your kids are like, Mom, I want to watch the new Marvel TV show. No.
I'm very curious of how this is going to go over. Because, like we say, when you deal with the MCU fans, and let's face it, we talked about the comic fans and the pop culture fans.
Yeah.
I don't know how the pop culture fans are going to handle this. They should handle it fine. We fell in love with The Walking Dead, which is coming back now with Daryl Dixon season 3. So there is that possibility that this is going to go over big. I think it will. I think this will be more, though, geared for the college kids.
Mm-hmm. Then we got a trailer for this show. I've been waiting for season 3 on for, a little bit because I had to play catch up and watch the first 2 seasons. And that's Jujutsu Kaisen. They dropped season 3 trailer a couple days ago. The season is dropping in January 2026, exclusively on Crunchyroll. Highly recommend the show if you haven't seen it. First 2 seasons go by real quick. It's a real easy watch. It's fantastic. I cannot wait for season 3. But give a check out to the trailer. Trailer looks amazing.
Trailer looked very, very good.
Yeah.
So definitely excited to see about that coming on.
Yeah.
And then we got some video game news.
Yes, because there is a state of play for PlayStation coming up tomorrow, actually, as we record, where it's going to be 30 minutes of 00 agent action. With the IO team. So this is going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. CEST. So check your local listings or check on PlayStation's Twitch and YouTube channel when it's going to be dropping. But it's going to be a deep dive on 007 First Light. So, of course, IO Interactive is the team that does the Hitman series, Agent 47. Perfect fit for this franchise. The article on the PlayStation blog does say, back at June's state of play, we unveiled the game's reveal trailer, offering you your first look at IO Interactive's unique take on Bond. In this upcoming state of play, tune in for over 30 minutes of gameplay.
Wow.
Featuring a playthrough of Bond's first mission as an MI6 recruit. The action includes everything from high-speed car chases to on-foot stealth sequences and shootouts. Stay tuned after the playthrough for insights from IO Interactive on the intense espionage gameplay. Close quote. So, holy cow, can't wait for this to come out, because if there's one thing you don't know about being an MI6 agent in the James Bond universe, you can't kill right away.
No.
You got to be a double O, and all that fun. So this, I can't wait to see the gameplay of, because more than likely, I hate stealth in video games, but I'm probably going to deal with it to play this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, you and Bond, it goes together like New Comic Book Day and readers. So speaking of which, a lot of great books are coming out this week. Nerd Initiative is your hookup for that. I believe 35 reviews on deck to start, and that's a slow week, which is crazy to think about. But that being said, Pat, what you picking up this week?
Going to be picking up a couple issues, all of them from the folks at Marvel. You've got Star Wars Han Solo Hunt for the Falcon. This is the first of a 5-issue miniseries from Rodney Barnes. And then you've got Ramon Rosanas is the artist, also did the cover art. And this reads, and get ready to feel old, folks, this is celebrating 10 years of The Force Awakens.
Oh, my God.
Force Awakens, when it hits December, will be 10 years
10
old.
years?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh. It's 10 years since we inadvertently had the ending of, was it this one or Last Jedi that got spoiled for us at the 2CW
No,
show?
it was Force Awakens.
Yeah, okay. That was the one where somebody, so
yep.
We went to go see The Force Awakens, but we went to see it at a midnight showing with some friends. Because earlier in that night was a wrestling show.
2CW.
It was a 2CW wrestling show, and there was somebody in the crowd that had a sign that said Han Solo dies.
Yep.
And we're like, that's funny. That they would have that sign. And then we went and watched the movie, and then it happened.
Yeah.
But the description on this comic does read, quote, in the time before The Force Awakens, where is the Millennium Falcon? Less than satisfied with a settled life, Han Solo lands on the idea of reclaiming the Falcon and returning to a life of adventure. The problem is, he can't find it. After enlisting a less than enthusiastic Chewbacca, the duo embarks upon a request to reclaim the greatest ship in the galaxy. Standing in their way are a laundry list of rogues who have staked a claim to the Millennium Falcon as well. Like the villainous scoundrel who stole the Falcon, Duquesne. Got a hunch based on the cover art. We're going to see a certain smooth-talking Lando Calrissian in this as well. So this looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. Cannot wait to read this. Also from the folks at Star Wars and the incomparable Charles Soule, Star Wars Legacy of Vader, issue number 8. This one reads, the Knights of Ren return with a new leader, Tava Ren. In order to control the Knights of Ren, Tava must kill Kylo Ren. Learn the dark secrets of this mysterious group of villains. What subterfuge will this new warrior use to get what she wants? This series, ton of fun to read. Absolutely one you should be keeping up on if you're a Star Wars fan. And then lastly, certainly not least, oh boy, when they announced this, I cannot wait to read this because this was one of my favorite shows as a kid growing up, and it's a continuation. From J.M. DeMatteis. And then you've got Jim Toe as the artist and Nick Bradshaw on cover art. Spider-Man 94.
Wow.
Issue number 1. The description of this reads, the hit 90s animated series returns. After searching to the ends of the multiverse, Peter Parker, the amazing, the spectacular, the radioactive webhead himself, a.k.a. Spider-Man, swings back into the streets of New York City with his beloved Mary Jane Watson in tow. But what's this? One of these villains is not like the others. Witness this universe's debut of not one, but 2 of Spider-Man's greatest villains from the comics. Legendary Spider Scribe J.M. DeMatteis and rising star artist Jim Toe bring you the return you've all been waiting 30 years for. And you're never going to expect the twists and turns ahead for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Break out your action figures and post up in front of the TV as we bring you back to the greatest era of animated superhero television in history. Close quote. If for no other reason, you should pick this up comic up for the cover, because if you grew up on that cartoon in the 90s or even watched the cartoon, it is a nostalgia-filled cover, including the little Marvel tag at the top.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that Nick Bradshaw?
Yes,
cover?
it is.
Yeah.
Yep, Nick Bradshaw's on the cover art.
Yeah, he's always top shelf, but he really made that an homage
to
the past there. So definitely cool stuff there. Man, all right, sorry, I had to take a moment to pause and reflect on that.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years because the story about that too is, remember, we watched Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in a bingo hall.
We did.
Before we went to go see.
And we saw Matt Hardy before he was broken.
Yep.
We technically broke Matt Hardy.
Which maybe, because I know that line got mentioned at that show too to him. Oh my, I had to go research about who else was on that card.
Yeah, we got to see the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, you talk about how wild like that show was. Eddie Edwards was there, who's obviously in TNA right now, Sami Callihan and Dalton Castle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost like a who's who of like who's in indie wrestling or now.
Yeah.
Like I say.
Kind of crazy.
But it took 10 years. Holy smokes. Okay.
Yep.
My head is blown by that, so just bear with me on that, folks, because I got to talk about some comic picks too. One book that definitely caught my eye this week, and this is something that I think is very cool by DC for going back to, The Adventures of Superman, the Book of L.
Oh, okay.
So this is Philip Kennedy Johnson and Scott Golwitsky, and they are picking up from the events of Future State. So remember that storyline from a couple years back?
Yes.
It ended because reasons was going on.
Yeah.
They're going back to it.
Oh, all right.
So this is something cool. They're reuniting, according to the description. They're reuniting for the Book of L as the super family settles in a well-earned time off of peace. A powerful ally turned enemy invades Earth with an army at his back and a god aspect on Ogum, mad god of the first world. So this is going to be something, like I say, Philip Kennedy Johnson, I think, is doing a lot of really cool stuff here. So this will be something definitely go check out by him. The book that everybody's going to be talking about this week, though, is Batman #1.
Okay.
So I don't believe they restarted the Batman franchise that often. I know, obviously, New 52, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo.
DC, according to DC, and this is on their social media stuff, there have only ever been 3 Batman issue #1s.
Yeah. So, like I say, Snyder, Capullo did.
Yep.
I want to say it was David Finch and Tom King on the second one, because that was coming in the rebirth era. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Bill Finger, Bob Kane. Mm-hmm. So that's your 3. So now this is Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. So Jimenez was doing the art on the Chip Zdarsky run, which was one of the longest runs in recent memory.
Right.
And if you didn't read that one, I recommend that one. They weren't afraid to go some places. But I will say it was definitely a trip to see. So Fraction is taking over, and I got to be very careful because I have read this issue.
Okay.
And I can't say any spoilers, but I would say it's an interesting take that we see.
Okay.
So is one that I think some fans are going to be having a lot to say at the comic shops, especially if you've been following what has been happening previously. Now, I'm going to stress this. This has nothing to do with the Hush storyline
Right.
that's been going on with Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee.
Right.
This is something completely different. They're not connected in that sense. But you'll see there's a lot of things going on with the previous run with Zdarsky and Jimenez, which is good because I like how they keep some things continuum. So this will be, but it's going to be one that I think some fans are going to be talking about at the shops.
Sure.
And rightfully so. I mean, there's a Batman #1. You don't see that.
Yeah, that's very rare you see that.
Yeah, so definitely one to keep an eye on for. And then we go to the Absolute Universe, and this is Jason Aaron and what he's been doing with the mythos of Kal-El and company. Some very cool stuff, some very wild stuff, I will say indeed. So you want to keep an eye out for that. And then over on the Marvel side of things, you know, we talk about legacies, we talk about renumberings.
Yeah.
There's 2 issues that are coming out this week that definitely are, you know, crazy to think that we're seeing this in our lifetime. There's Doctor Strange 450.
Oh, wow.
So the legacy, they're going to legacy numbering for this. And this one, you know, is an all-star cast and everything going on with that. So they're celebrating, you know, 450 issues. The other one, which threw me for a loop, but holy smokes, Amazing Spider-Man 11, Legacy 975.
Oh, wow.
So definitely some very cool moments happening in Marvel, especially if you've been reading the storyline with Amazing Spider-Man. It's going some places, and definitely a lot of question marks to be had with that. So a lot of fun stuff to be had at the comic shops this week. And if you need more recommendations, can't say it again enough, and I can't say it, you know, again more times. Nerd Initiative. Nobody's doing new comic book day quite like we do with the Bullpen. Reviews start at 9 a.m. on the website, go every 5 minutes till we run out. Then they switch over to YouTube Shorts, and you get all the information you need to make the perfect selections at the comic shops. And definitely hit us up on the social medias after you go get them, because we definitely like talking comics with everybody, along with the other parlay of topics that you can find at odphpodcast.com, because that's it for this week. So for the one only Padawan J,
Fuck the Astros.
I'm your host, Ken M. Thank you as always for listening to the ODPH podcast. See you next time.
It's such waste of time, swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. 'Cause anyone who's worth a damn be worth way more than a picture could ever show. You could find the right light, find the right angle, and never find your soul. And it can feel like a losing battle, and this plot is full of holes. This modern way of finding love just makes me feel so alone. And I can't be the only one sick of staring at my phone. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Don't know that I believe in the old time fable. Everyone has just one true love. All I know is you're across this table, and you're all I'm thinking of. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Talk to me. swiping right on people you could know.